you doing? My name's Freddy, but my pals call me Find It Freddy, because if there's a clue, well, I'll find it. And if I find enough clues, I can solve any case, no matter how difficult. Except for where my keys are. If you see a set of car keys, feel free to give me a call. Anyway, these cases, they aren't always easy, like my latest case, the mystery of the Messiah. Here's what I know so far. It all started 27 years ago. Scratch that, 2,700 years ago. Give or take. God had promised King David that his kids and grandkids were gonna rule forever as kings. Pretty awesome, right? But more than that, God promised that his chosen Messiah king would come from David's family, see? That's why we got this clue of a crown. So a whole lot of years later, the king Ahaz and God's people were getting real scared because their enemies were closing in on them, right? But God didn't want them to be scared. He wanted them to know he was looking out for them. So he gave them a message through his prophet, Isaiah. Here's a tip. That's what prophets do. See, they speak God's words. Anyway, Isaiah gave the people a sign from God. A young, unmarried woman will give birth to a son and name him Immanuel. Now, Immanuel means God is with us. That important baby is the second clue. Now, that's when I also knew that this was a very special case, because I have found a lot of clues in my day, and none of them has ever been a baby. If I found a baby every single case I solved, I'd be running a nursery, and I don't have the time. See, it's the same baby that God told King David about. And even though he hadn't been born yet, the promise that this child would be born someday showed the people that God loved them and had a plan for them and was always with them. So now we go forward again, this time about 700 years, see? And God's people are being threatened again. And they're scared again, wondering if God was gonna save them again. Some were losing their hope, but they remembered the way God kept his word in the past, and they remembered that baby Immanuel was coming. Meanwhile, there was this carpenter named Joseph, see? Now, Joseph was distantly related to King David from long ago. He was engaged to be married to a woman named Mary, who was expecting a baby. But see here, this was no ordinary baby. And an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream and explained why. That's for sure a clue. The angel told Joseph to be afraid. Scratch that. He told him to not be afraid to marry Mary because the baby was coming from the Holy Spirit. The angel told him that Mary was going to have a son and that Joseph would name him Jesus because he will save his people from their sins. And Joseph woke up and took Mary home as his wife, but this is where I get stumped, okay? Another important clue here, but I just can't make sense of it. I mean, the crown, the baby, the angel, and the star. What does this have to do with what God told David all those years before? And what does it have to do with what the prophet Isaiah said? Maybe Joseph is the key here. The angel spoke to him in a dream, and he did what the angel said. Wait a minute. Joseph must have remembered the promise that God had made through Isaiah all those years before. A young, unmarried woman, Mary, would give birth to a son, Jesus, and he would be called Immanuel. And Joseph was related to King David. That's it. The baby inside Mary was the Messiah, the hope for everyone, the one who would save them all. That means he's also the one who saves us all now. When we choose to follow Jesus, we can know that we will live with him forever. And we can also remember that even if we're scared or disappointed or whatever, we can know that God is with us. He knows us, he loves us, and leads us. Jesus is our hope. Another case closed. I knew I'd do it.